"Don't rush," LaChapelle said, her voice gentle but firm, each word carrying the weight of experience. She stepped closer and placed a steady hand on Valentina's shoulder. "As we speak, the magic is already working in your blood, changing you from the inside out. It's a slow, miraculous transformation. The potion's effects could last 9 months, 9 years, or somewhere in between. It all depends on how your body and spirit accept the change. Soon, you'll lose the signs of your succubus heritage. Your eyes, your aura, even your scent will become more human. But remember, this is only the first step. Your journey is just beginning, and you must be brave as you learn to live in your new skin." "How will I know when the potion is wearing off?" Valentina asked, her voice quiet and nearly drowned out by the growing roar of the stampede. She pressed her palm to her chest, feeling a tingling warmth spreading outward, as if the magic was weaving through her veins and muscles, turning her into someone new. Her fingers trembled as she waited for LaChapelle's answer, feeling both fear and hope for what might come next. But as Valentina waited for an answer, the monsters closed in, a blur of fur, scales, and bared fangs. Their bodies tensed with anticipation, claws digging deep ruts in the earth as they lunged for their prey. The air was heavy with the smell of their hunger and the sharp edge of her fear. Just as the nearest beast's jaws snapped shut, Valentina slipped through the glowing veil of LaChapelle's portal, a shimmer of light that separated the demon and human worlds. The creatures crashed into empty air, their howls of rage splitting the mountain. Their anticipation turned to white-hot frustration, a wave of fury that sent them into a frenzy. Muscles tensed and tails lashed, their eyes wild with longing for the prize lost in an instant. From the safety of the threshold, LaChapelle watched their tantrums with a sardonic smile, a brief, ironic amusement before the next danger arrived. Seeing LaChapelle's sardonic amusement, the beasts turned their attention from their lost prey to the next best target, another member of the royal family. The snarling leader stepped forward, its jagged teeth shining in the light. "It must be our lucky day, 2 in 1 hunt. I don't know what you did with our rare meal, but you smell the same. You'll do simply fine," it said. LaChapelle's sleek form stood poised and ready for a fight. She met the creature's gaze with unwavering defiance. "I see. You must be the leader. I don't care where you came from or what your intentions were with my niece. It ends with me," she declared. Her voice was steady and resolute as she extended her razor-sharp claws. Their edges gleamed ominously in the shadows. She assumed a combative stance, radiating fierce determination. "Give up already! There are over 100 of us and only one of you. The odds are not in your favor," the commanding beast taunted. Its arrogance dripped from every word like venom. "If I have to, I will, but something's telling me that won't be necessary," LaChapelle retorted. A confident smirk danced on her lips, an unsettling expression that sent shivers racing down the spines of the assembled beasts. "Listen, I'm only going to tell you," the creature began, its words dripping with condescension. Still, before it could finish, LaChapelle exploded forward with the speed of a lightning bolt and the grace of a panther. With a swift, silent motion, she struck. Her claws sliced through the air to rip the beast's throat mercilessly. As the blood pooled on the ground, the remaining beasts stood wide-eyed and paralyzed with terror. They witnessed the gruesome outcome of their leader's arrogance. LaChapelle's ferocious display instilled such harrowing fear in their hearts that they scattered into the shadows from whence they came. They whimpered like frightened animals, as if their very lives depended on it. The air around LaChapelle thrummed with a tense stillness, marking her triumph and her beloved niece's narrow escape. As Valentina stepped through the swirling, iridescent portal, she was swept up in the vibrant energy of New Orleans. The city welcomed her with bursts of color, sunlight shining on wrought-iron balconies covered in blooming bougainvillea, and strings of beads moving in the warm breeze. The smell of chicory coffee, fried dough, and the earthy scent of rain-soaked cobblestones filled the air. Laughter and music drifted from open doors, the sound of a saxophone mixing with street vendors selling pralines and the steady clatter of streetcars on St. Charles Avenue. Jazz filled every corner of the French Quarter, with trumpets and trombones echoing through alleys decorated with murals that told stories of passion, struggle, and joy. Valentina felt her senses come alive as she walked past pastel buildings worn smooth by time, her eyes catching faded hand-painted signs and the glow of neon lights promising adventure. In this city full of possibilities, she searched for Sevyn among the mix of scents, sounds, and cultures. His laughter was bright and welcoming, and his arms made even the busiest city feel like home. Wanting to surprise Sevyn with his favorite treat, a caramel macchiato, Valentina set out through the winding streets of the city in search of the best caramel macchiato in town. She visited busy markets, asked locals for advice while enjoying beignets, and followed the smell of caramel to a small cafe on a lively corner. The cafe felt warm and nostalgic, with walls covered in vintage jazz posters, local art, and shelves full of old paperbacks. The sound of conversation mixed with the hiss of the espresso machine and the clink of cups. Sunlight filtered through stained glass windows, illuminating the dust in the air and making the moment feel special. This cozy spot would soon be the backdrop for their growing love, a place where time seemed to slow down for them. On the day their paths crossed, Valentina pushed open the cafe's old wooden door, the bell ringing in the quiet room. The smell of caramel and cinnamon greeted her as she walked in, and at that moment Sevyn appeared in front of her with a coffee in hand, his figure outlined by the warm light. Their eyes met, and everything else seemed to stop. For a moment, it was just the two of them, her heart beating fast, his eyes wide with surprise. The connection between them was instant and intense, as if fate had brought them together. For Valentina, the moment was filled with nerves and hope. Her heart pounded, and she lost her usual calm under Sevyn's gaze. She felt butterflies in her stomach and hesitated, looking down at her shoes before taking a deep breath. The cafe's warm light softened her features as she finally spoke. Would you like to keep me company?" she asked, her voice quiet but clear above the background noise. Sevyn's green eyes lit up as he smiled, making the whole cafe feel brighter. He accepted her invitation with a playful bow and led her to a quiet table in the corner, where a candle flickered next to fresh magnolias. As Valentina sat across from him, her nerves grew, each moment feeling like a new chapter in their story. Their conversation flowed easily, mixed with laughter and shy looks. In that warm, golden light, it felt as if the city itself had brought them together, offering a sense of hope and promise. Wanting to impress Sevyn and share his favorite treat, Valentina ordered a caramel macchiato. She spoke with growing confidence about how much she enjoyed its mix of sweetness and strength. Her eyes lit up as she watched Sevyn's reaction, and when he offered to pay for her coffee, a quiet excitement passed between them. After that, meeting at the cafe became their routine. They lingered over pastries, shared stories, and found reasons to see each other often. Each meeting left them both excited, their bond growing stronger with every moment. It felt like they were living out a dream Valentina had once imagined for Sevyn. Soon, Sevyn, full of excitement, introduced Valentina to his best friend Tyson. Over coffee and laughter, the three of them started to form a friendship. Later, Sevyn told Tyson in private that Valentina was the woman he had dreamed about for years, his soulmate, and the answer to a longing he couldn't explain. Tyson, happy for Sevyn but observant, sensed that Valentina had a secret. There was something unusual about the way she moved through life, her smiles always a bit mysterious. When Landon Marshall made a cryptic comment about things not being what they seemed, Tyson's curiosity grew. He couldn't shake the feeling that Valentina's true nature was even more surprising than he imagined. For Valentina, living in the mortal world was eye-opening. She enjoyed the simple pleasures of city life, like walking through Jackson Square in the sun, listening to late-night jazz under gas lamps, and trying new foods with Sevyn. She no longer needed to imagine being close to him. Now, every moment felt honest and full of promise. The love she had searched for across worlds became a deep bond, strong enough to face any challenge. From the beginning, Sevyn was drawn to Valentina's beauty. Her black hair fell in wild waves, her eyes sparkled with mischief and longing, and her kind heart shone through. Her laughter eased his worries and gave him hope. He couldn't look away or picture life without her. Their connection, built on longing and discovery, felt magical, a fast romance that promised the happiness most people only dream about. Almost a year after they first met, Sevyn and Valentina promised their love in a sunny courtyard, surrounded by wildflowers, warm light, and the laughter of loved ones. Valentina wore a lace gown decorated with petals and pearls, marking her new beginning. Sevyn spoke his vows with emotion, full of hope and happiness.